this Memorial Day, we didn't have the best sales. We found out that it is a non-floral holiday, which is fine. I noted that in my calendar. I have a calendar that I write everything down on, because I always look back at last year, like when did this come up and when did that come up. We had a lot of flowers, and we've had a much warmer spring than we did last year, and so the Godicia bloomed earlier than it did last year. We had lots of Godicia, we had sunflowers, I've had some Scabiosa that bloomed. Side note, I learned from Acrewood Flowers that this beautiful, like half pom-pom flower, Scabiosa, is called Scabiosa because back in the day, I forget what she said, I'll have to look it up, but back in the day, they thought that this flower cured scabies, and so they called it Scabiosa. Terrible name for a flower, but it's a really pretty flower. Anyway, back to the story. Lots of really pretty flowers. I know I'm biased. We had some beautiful bouquets, but Saturday started out super slow. Super slow. We made 33 bouquets Friday because that's how many flowers we had. We sold 32 on Mother's Day, if you remember. That was all pre-orders. Started out with 33 bouquets and crickets on Saturday morning. Not a lot of sales. Not sure how many we ended up at the end of Saturday because we did have a group of our friends over. It was so fun to see them. We haven't seen them in a long time, so we weren't able just to sit down and count and all the things. But we had a lot of bouquets left over on Saturday, so we put it out on social media that we would be open on Sunday. And we were open on Sunday, and the final count after Sunday was 15. As you know, typically our magic number is 12, so I really expected it to be 12, but it wasn't. We had 15. So I was super excited about 15 because by the way it started out, I was thinking, man, we are not even going to get to 12. We're going to be like 5, and whatever. It is what it is. Again, flowers are not an essential item. I was hoping some people would want them for their, get-togethers, Memorial Day get-togethers, all the things. But only 15 people did. But there's another good part to this story, and that comes with an idea I had, and believe it or not, because you don't ever see, my hair is always looking a hot mess when I'm on these videos. Usually I get my ideas when I'm drying my hair. Why? I do not know. I guess because I'm standing there and just really doing something mindless. But a couple days before, it was like Wednesday, I think, I had this idea because I was thinking about Memorial Day, had read that Memorial Day used to be called Decoration Day, and that it started after the Civil War, where they wanted to honor the fallen, and so they came up with Decoration Day, and that's where you went and you decorated the graves of those soldiers that had died during the Civil War. So it was Decoration Day, and it did say you put flowers on the graves of those who had fallen and decorated their graves. So I just kept thinking about that, and how could we help people that, had loved ones in this area? I mean, just right here local. How can we help those people that have loved ones that they've lost, who obviously were service members, men and women that they've lost? How can we help them honor their loved ones? What could we do? And that's just what I kept thinking about. So then I was talking to Bob about it, basically for the community. But I know, we have a really small following, so it wasn't like the whole community was going to see it. But just for, obviously, I guess, our following. It's not that I wanted people to come buy a bouquet. I mean, yes, we love selling our flowers, and I do want people to come buy a bouquet. I didn't want them to have to come buy a bouquet. So how could we do something for that. And then that's when started to evolve, like maybe we could put out a bucket of stems and they could just come get a few stems of flowers. And then we thought of, well, how about writing their name down? Because I always think that, I mean, when you write somebody's name down, it just makes it real. It just, you know, it helps you to think of them again and just makes them not really present, but it just kind of makes it real again. That then we could put their names out and it would feel so much more real to the community. These are servicemen and women in our community that have been lost, and this is what Memorial Day is about. We came up with a little table, and we put the table out, and we had a little sheet that explained, you know, about Decoration Day, and then we had the stems, and we had just a bucket of stems for them to take for free, and they could take, you know, as many as they wanted. We just said, you know, do whatever you feel led to do with these stems and write their names down, and then we would do a post on Memorial Day to put their names out there for others to read and remember. And I just felt like that was really good, because sometimes just in writing down the name, just in writing it on a sheet of paper and remembering and having someone else read it and knowing that someone else is reading it and remembering them, I think sometimes just helps people and helps them helps them feel better, helps them know that other people see that this person, you know, lost their life and served this country, and it was an honorable thing. So that's what we came up. And at first we didn't have anybody coming to do that, meaning I kept watching, kept peeking out the window. Did anybody come to the table? Anybody come to the table? At first, nobody. Then we did have, first person to write names down was a neighbor of ours, and I have to have Bob tell that story because he was there. All right, so now Bob's going to tell you the story. I have to bring him on now because he won't do the whole video with me.
Because I know better.
Yeah, right.
So I was probably the negative one about the way sales were going for Memorial Day.
Yes.
Would you say?
Yes, most definitely.
But I was very happy with Shauna's idea that I assume you've told them about. And
he hasn't been here for my whole video. He doesn't even know what
I just come in
said.
when it's important.
Yes, yes.
I'm like the designated hitter.
Right.
So I happened to be going down to the flower stand. I was bringing some bouquets down there, and happened to see our one of our real good neighbors down there, an older couple, a little older than us, and the wife was sitting in the golf cart. She was holding 3 of the individual stems from the bucket we had set out there, and the husband was kind of standing off to the side between the golf cart and the table where we had the stems. And of course I greeted them and everything, and when he turned around and greeted me, all of a sudden I realized that he was crying, and you know, I didn't really know what to say. I mean, I figured it was because of the whole Memorial Day thing, and he was crying for a little while. I'm like, hey, you know, Ron, it's okay. And finally he said, you know, this means so much to me. He said, I had one of my best friends had died in Vietnam, and just coming here and being able to honor him in this way just, I guess, meant so much to him. It made him very emotional. And all of a sudden I realized, number one, you know, this is what Memorial Day is all about, which I knew that, but I was experiencing it through someone else that was really affected emotionally by this. And they were affected just by the small gesture of being able to not just get the flower stems, you know, for honoring this person, but to be able to write his name down. And you know, it just meant so much to me. At that point, the flower sales were totally irrelevant. It didn't matter. That was the least of the issue. And you know, we talked for a little while, and again he got very emotional, And I was getting emotional just talking to him. And then once that was done, I went in and was trying to tell Shauna about it. And I was getting all emotional just trying to tell her about it. So I guess the point, again, meant a lot, and it really helped open my eyes to what was really important, what Memorial Day is all about, and the whole idea of what Shauna was trying to do and how that could mean so much to somebody. So it just meant a lot. It meant a lot to them, it meant a lot to us, and I don't know, it was just really cool.
You lost someone in Vietnam, and still, you know, you're in your 70s and you still carry it so heavy that it makes you cry. I can't imagine. I mean, how difficult is that? And for it to mean so much, for you to just come write their name down and for someone else to remember, humbling. Although we didn't have the best sales on Memorial Day, it wasn't our best weekend. We didn't have, you know, the highest sales, that kind of thing. It really meant a lot to us that we were able to actually do something that was meaningful to other people and meaningful to us, because it was really nice to hear that story. And then also we had put out there that we're going to be open a second day because we still had bouquets left over. And there was someone on Facebook that had said she wishes she had seen this prior, because she would have come out. And we said, well, we're going to be open a second day, so come on out. And she did. And she wrote down a name. And not only did she write down this name, she also then on Memorial Day sent us a picture. I mean, how awesome is that? She was so thankful. And this is really the reason that we did it. We really just wanted people to use it as a way to remember their loved ones that have served our country, ones that have been there to help us to be able to enjoy the freedoms that we really enjoy every single day. And they've given their lives for us, and this is the least that we could do. I mean, we just gave a few stems. It was, you know, it wasn't really anything. But I was just happy. I mean, and I had told Bob at one point, you know, we did that little, I'm not sure if we ever put it on here, but we put it on a reel on our Instagram about, you know, the life of a flower farmer and how we peek out the window all the time, like, oh, there's somebody at the stand, oh, are they buying this, oh, are they doing this? And anyway, it was just this funny little reel we put out there. But on Saturday, I kept peeking out there if I saw somebody driving up, and I'm like, oh my, are they using the little table? Are they using the table? Are they using the table? And I looked at Bob and I was like, I think this lady just used the table. This was like the first time I thought I saw somebody use the table. And I said, I'm telling you what, if that person wrote down a name, that's going to make my whole day. I'm going to be so excited. See, I told you, I really thought that this was going to be good. Somebody was going to write the name down and was going to really help them to remember. And this is just going to be a time that maybe gave them just a little bit of peace, a little bit of peace. And that was really all I was looking for. I just wanted to help give somebody a little bit of peace. I mean, because how difficult is it to lose someone? Super difficult. Another thing we did, again, we didn't sell all our bouquets. So today, Memorial Day, we went and we delivered some to our neighbors. And one of the neighbors, he is 80. You would never know it. Oh my goodness. He is so spry. And I forget. I think he told me he served 20. I'm going to get it wrong. I'm going to say 25, but it's probably wrong. In the Army. But he did 2 combat tours. One in Vietnam and one in Iraq. What? Crazy. And we just talked about it, and he talked about how it was his father that was the one that was his guiding force. And also he just kept his faith in God, listened to his father, and that's what drove him and led him to where he is today. And he wishes he could impart that on a lot of young people today. And today he told us, which I didn't see, and he does live across the street from us, but unfortunately I didn't see it. But he said that this morning he woke up and he stood outside and he saluted his flag because of all those people we've lost, and he understands the meaning of that. And I think that sometimes we all just lose a little bit of sight of that all this freedom, it's not free. It goes back to the meaning of Memorial Day stems from Decoration Day, decorating the graves of those who have fallen, those who have served our country and those who have fallen. So in the end, it's not about the low sales. It's not about, we didn't sell enough, or that it wasn't this or it wasn't that. In the end, we have the freedom to do what we want here. And so that's what makes this great. We can be a flower farmer if we want, or we can do, the things that we want, because we live in a great country.